Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it is Dwayne Minard here, and I am so happy to be chatting with Toronto DJ, Mr. Frustra, actually DJ producer, Frustra. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am surviving. I'm wearing
Yeah.
pants, which is good. And the reason I think I'm doing these interviews is because it's the only way that I will actually wash my hair and like do it.
It's funny. I had the same thought earlier before I actually got on this call. I was like, yeah, I should probably get up and like make sure I look presentable.
Yeah, you look good. You're still young enough that you don't have to put a lot of work into it, so you're fine.
Yeah. Story of my life.
So, well, first off, I want to discuss your new EP, Fool for Grooves, right? I've got
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's it.
So this is, guys, if you are a house guy, if you are into filtered disco, which I've been a fan of since God knows when, Frustra has released this awesome 4-track EP. It's all very filtered disco, housey grooves. There isn't a bad track on this. I mean, I started off with New Baltimore. That was my jam off the top. But I went through it again today and listened to the rest of them. They're all really solid, man. So congratulations on this.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Dude, you're very welcome. What was your inspiration? Because I didn't know you were a disco-y kind of guy. I always just assumed straight ahead house or electronica.
Yeah, I mean, like a few years ago, I was producing like a lot of just darker tech house records, and they were kind of just making the rounds and stuff. But I just got really bored of that, and I ended up going out to Vancouver last year to do some more DJ gigs out on the West Coast, and eventually started touring with this group that was based out there called Vancouver Art and Leisure, and I just started doing shows with them. And while I was working with them, the people they introduced me to in terms of like queer DJs that were like local or international, they were all very, primed and big on like disco. Like kind of like it's come up, it's revival that's currently happening, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
For like the 10th time since 1990, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, just all the music they were exposing me to, it just kind of led me on a new path. And originally when I was a kid, I really loved listening to like French house and filter house. Like that was kind of like the first thing that really hooked me in when it came to dance music. So it was kind of like retracing my steps a little bit, but also kind of, finding new territory to walk on.
Well, dude, you did it amazingly well. And this is like, I mean, seriously, I've been spinning filtered disco house since 2000. And these tracks, I mean, it's not every year since 2000, but I mean, it's been a core, like it's how I got my start in the scene in Toronto. I was probably one of the only gay DJs dropping the filtered disco stuff that was, nobody was really interested at that time because it was still a very big circuit,
Yeah, it's funny you say that, just because like I feel like in a way I'm seeing a lot of like the same thing here right now. I'm not seeing that much kind of like weird like lo-fi filter house stuff going on. It's mainly just pure disco.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, I like it. I mean, to tell you the truth, your EP and the new Daft Punk that has, I forget the name of it, something Express, that has a Boss Gags Lowdown sample in it.
Oh, Disclosure, Expressing What Matters. Yeah.
Did I say the wrong thing? Did I say Daft Punk?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like they could be one and the same when you think about it.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, they both start with a D. So yeah, the new Disclosure, Especially What Matters. Oh my God. Like, and you have to understand, I've been listening to that Boss Gag song since 1976. And
oh my God. My dad used to play that when I was growing up. Oh, man.
Yeah. So right now. How old is your dad?
He's in his 60s now. Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't make me feel too bad.
Okay, it shouldn't.
So, yeah, no, yeah. So, if they can take something and make it something that I've loved forever and make something very good out of it and something creative enough that like it sparks my interest to like play the track out. Yeah, I mean, and you've done that with these tracks, and I don't even know where you got those samples from. So, kudos to you on those samples.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I just did a lot of crate digging over the last year. I was trying to find like what were the most like obscure but still like, groovy enough samples that I could find. I didn't want to do anything that was kind of, I don't know, obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that shows, man. You did. It's such a great work. And so, and also, I don't want to be blowing sunshine up your ass this whole interview, but I'm also really impressed with the promotion that you've done, all the artwork, all the videos. I mean, it's such a great lo-fi look. I'm assuming did you do that all yourself?
Yeah, I did. So I was out in Los Angeles about 2.5 weeks ago now. I was supposed to be out there playing a show, but it got canceled. So I just used the rest of my time to just drive around and take shots and then put them together. And I already had the tracks done. So while I was out there, I just put them together on my phone, and that was it.
Well, that's brilliant, man. Cheap and cheerful, but very effective.
Mm-hmm.
Very effective. So that's good. So right now it's available strictly on Bandcamp?
Bandcamp for now. I'm hoping to get it up on streaming sites within the next 2 weeks.
Excellent. And now is it going to be released on your own imprint, or have you got a label that signed it?
It'll be completely independent. After many years of working with labels and stuff, I think I'm kind of just at the point where I'd rather just stay independent now.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So is this like your first one, or have you done a couple in the past?
In terms of independent releases, I think maybe I did one like 5 years ago, but after that it was basically just straight label releases.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, are you originally from Toronto?
No, actually, I'm from Newmarket, which is about an hour north.
Yep.
Yeah. It's an okay place to grow up. You don't want to stay there though.
Like any small town, especially if you're gay.
Oh yeah, God.
And a house DJ, or you have aspirations to be like
you don't fit in. Just go away.
So when did you move to Toronto?
I moved here in 2014, so almost 6 years ago now.
Wow, so you're like still relatively new.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going at it for a few years, but I like to think I'm still, a little bit of a spring chicken.
Well, considering I've been doing it since 2000, yeah. You are a spring chicken. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I started in '89, but how's
okay, shit. Okay, yeah. I should stop talking now.
No. It's like, what year were you born?
Do you really want to know?
It's going to make me sad, but sure.
Okay, well, I'm going to wait. Yeah, I'm going to wait for you to finish your drink. 1994.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I knew that was coming.
No, that's my God. Okay, well, that's cool, though. I mean, I love the fact that you are of the age you are and you are doing disco. That's nice to know. I mean, that I've been a champion of disco since high school. So, I mean, I don't know if you know the whole history of how disco died and all that shit. Do you know any of that?
With disco demolition night and whatnot, and how it kind of resurfaced within the underground clubs like around early 80s, and kind of just evolved into like proto house, all that.
Yeah. So he knows his stuff. So so I mean, I was there when disco died. I mean, I was a big music fan. I was a rocker, right? So disco wasn't really my thing anyway. But I remember when disco died, and disco sucks. You had that stupid mentality, which I can't even believe, even at a 9-year-old kid or a 10-year-old kid. Anyway, so when I was in high school, one of the first 12-inch singles I bought was a song by S Express. If you've heard.
Okay. Yeah, I know S Express.
Yeah. So it's, classic sample-based Mark Moore from Mars doing that. And I remember hearing it and thinking to myself, fuck, this is disco. Like, this is the stuff that my siblings were listening to when I was a kid, or, it was being played on the radio. So I really heavily went back into the whole disco thing. And this is way before Google and whatever. I literally had to go to record stores. Parents would give me their albums, like parents' friends would give me the records because I liked disco. And my friends thought I was nuts because this is like 1986-ish, 87.
Oof, yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, like they're all like, why are you listening to Donna Summer? And I don't know, I was listening to the Bee Gees. Like I was listening to very commercial stuff because that was the easiest to find. And then I discovered a series of CDs called by Rhino Records.
Oh yeah, okay.
Years, and those were my fucking Bible, because in them they had liner notes that talked about why disco died and the politics behind it, and I had no clue. Nobody did. It was, I mean, it's essentially what's going on with Trump. It's like Make America Great Again. It's like they figured out that it was gay and black and Latino and it was underground, and they didn't want their kids or whatever. They just no, God, no, that was everything.
I think we're going to corrupt them. Oh my God.
Well, exactly. Right. So, so basically disco died because of racism and homophobia. And that is.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's a shame just because like the undertones were always present, especially when it came to the demolition rally that happened, just because like, I was watching this documentary on the history of house music, and I forget who said it, but he was talking about how it wasn't just funk and disco records, it was also just straight up black records.
Oh yeah,
that were being blown up on the field, and like when you think about that and the actual sentiment behind everything, you know, it kind of shows that, you know, maybe this wasn't just about disco. This is about, you know, something a bit more that was kind of really fucked up and still is pretty fucked up to think about.
It really is. I mean, and it was just veiled. It was just veiled racism. I mean, I'll tell you this quick story and then I'll shut up about myself. But my first gig was at a bar that did 50s and 60s music. And I was like, I mean, I knew a little bit about that stuff, but I was a 70s kid. And at the time that they hired me, they allowed 70s music to be brought into the foray of what, you know, I was doing. Anyway, disco, of course, was a big part of that. And I remember DJing after about 6 months of being there and sort of learning how to, you know, do the job properly. Work in a room, I've got like 200 people in there, but everybody's dancing, having a great time, and I'm playing disco. And this guy who was probably, now that I think about it, 40 at the time, comes up to the booth, and you know, I'm like 20, and he says to me, he's like, "What's with this, the N-word music?" And I just kind of looked at him and like, "Excuse me?" And he's like, "Yeah, what's with this?" You know, and he's really pissed that I've got a dance floor of people dancing to, like, I think it was Michael Jackson or something, like, you know what I mean? And he's like, "What's with this music?" And I looked at him and I said, "What the fuck do you want me to play?" And he's like, "I want to hear some fucking Stones, man." And I'm like, "What the fuck do you think the Stones were?" Like,
Yeah.
they were ripping off black music, you asshole. And he like left in a storm. And that was like 1990. I mean, anywhere from 1990 to like 1993. So it was still, even back then, there was still that stupid racist homophobic attitude towards disco, even though it had made a resurgence.
Yeah.
And that's just fucking sad.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, you think there would have been more, you know, progression as the years passed, but guess not, right?
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I think it has. I find it funny because literally every 5 years, you know, there's always another resurgence of disco and like some new form. And I always kind of laugh because it's like, man, it's just like, if the music was that bad, how come it keeps coming back so often?
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's funny just because there's a lot of tracks that are, you know, coming through the woodwork on SoundCloud in the form of like weird bootlegs and edits of all these old tracks from like, you know, late 70s, early 80s. So sometimes it might even just be like weird like synth funk stuff that they're you know, just sampling. But it's weird to see all these like, you know, kids who are like millennials and Generation Z like diving in through SoundCloud and like it's putting out these weird, I don't know, monsters creations that are essentially just like, you know, a ton of samples that are just thrown together. But I don't know where I was going with that.
That's all good. So how did you get into DJing?
God, so I actually started with producing. I went to school for music industry arts at Algonquin College in September 2012. Yeah. So I started there, and then I got an opportunity to go out to England, and I lived out there for a year and did a bunch of music stuff.
Wow.
And kind of just like got a feel for like the whole like rave scene that was happening there at the time.
Yep.
And a bunch of my friends who I'd like recently been introduced to actually had this warehouse over in Hackney Wick in East London, and it was right in front of the actual London 2012 Olympic Stadium. It was like this crazy ass view. But my friend who lived there, they used to do like these cabaret parties, and they would have like people like doing like trapeze and like circus tricks and whatnot. But they would have these crazy like DJ after parties afterwards, and they would like stretch until like 9 or 10 in the morning. And that was like one of the first gigs I ever got, period. Just because like she liked like what I was making at the time, so she asked me to just you know, come and spin, see if you can do it or not. She kind of just gave me like a challenge.
That's incredible. That's a great way to start.
Yeah, no, it was really fun. And I think just all the energy that I got from doing those shows while I was over there, I kind of just wanted to see if I could migrate that from there to here and just, I don't know, keep the momentum going.
And well, first off, I love London. The energy of England is incredible. The scene is awesome. How did that transfer when you got to Toronto?
It was interesting because a lot of people who I'm now really close friends with that I just started meeting were also kind of on the same wave. They were really like tuned into the whole like UK deep house sort of thing that was happening around 2014, 2015, and it all seemed like we were on the same page. So it kind of felt somewhat seamless. Like it almost felt like all the trends that I was chasing over there had just started to pick up over here in North America.
Yeah, well, they are generally a little ahead.
Yeah.
And also we're influenced. I don't know. Do you think we're as influenced by the UK as we once were for house music?
I don't know. I mean, if you would ask me this like in like the mid 2000s, I'd probably say yes. But now, not so much.
So where do you think those influences are coming from now?
I think a lot of it is coming from, I'd say like New York, Chicago, LA, with a bunch of these tech house labels that are popping up left and right, kind of bringing out like these new stars that are kind of just creating their own stuff and just sending it out, and I don't know, somehow managing to gain traction on the American circuit. But there's also that whole renaissance of like underground queer parties that's going on too, and I think they're kind of really, taking back their claim of being like, the disco originators, the house originators, all that.
That I'm happy to see, because I mean, unfortunately, I'm not a part of that scene, but I've been talking with a few other DJs that were all in the sort of same age bracket and DJing for around the same amount of time, and we've been saying like it's kind of annoying that our own community doesn't understand our place within disco music and house music. Like I think the history of it has been kind of lost through time, and I mean, I'm glad it's bubbling under for like another generation, but we're also like all the major players in house music, be it, Defected Records or, those guys, like the big, they're all these like straight white older guys. And it's like, well, disco and house music is essentially a black gay art form. Where is that being represented? You know what I mean? Other than the small parties, it would be really nice to see the community sort of get championed behind it again, or maybe get excited about it.
It'd be nice. And I think, probably sooner than later, there will be like an opportunity that reveals itself to be like, like, I don't know, the main force as like how we can move forward and make, things bigger. But I don't know, until then, I think we just gotta get more and more unified and figure out how to just really harness enough energy to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, from what I can see, it looks like you've got a pretty good group of people that you work with, and because I see a bit of what you are doing on Facebook. It would be nice. Yeah. Like I just find the education level is I don't know.
Subpar.
It's, and I personally shouldn't complain, because I've managed to build a career on house music. I mean, I don't have to play a lot of commercial. I certainly don't play circuit, nor God, do I ever want to play it. And I'm lucky. Like I have to admit, like I'm lucky that I have enough of a following that keep coming out to hear house music. It might be sometimes a little more commercial than whatever, but it's still, you're not going to hear Dua Lipa or whatever her name is, Dua Lipa, in my set. So yeah, nice that sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Nothing actually. I'm just thinking about like where we're at now and where we could be headed. I'm just hoping that, I don't know, we see less of a straight white male EDM mentality within dance music. Hopefully it keeps continuing to be a lot more diverse, as I think we've seen in recent years. Just because I remember there was that whole period between 2008 to like say 2013, 2014, it was just white dudes everywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, if you I'm going to get in trouble for saying this right now, but I mean, if you look at the bulk of the American DJs in the gay scene, they all look like goddamn porn stars.
Yeah.
Right? So that's, to each their own, if that's your thing. I personally don't want to hear a DJ because they've got nice tits.
Yeah. Big mood.
Yeah, like I want to hear some good music. In fact, I don't care what the fucking DJ looks like. I rarely look at the booth anyway. I want to be on the dance floor having fun.
Exactly. Like I want to be in like a sweaty basement 4 a.m. with like strobe lights going off and just losing my shit. I don't want to have to be focusing on anything.
Well, exactly. It should be just the music.
Yeah.
Jesus, now I had a point, but now I've forgotten it. Don't get old, man. Don't get old. Oh, I think I know what I was going to say. I think what you're doing is the right way to go. Because for me, I didn't want to play circuit. I wanted to, hit the daddy market. You know what I mean? Like I kind of knew what I wanted, and I play what I love. And I think and that's how I've built my whole career. I mean, I started off very left of center. I mean, in 2000, like seriously, disco house was not a thing in the gay community.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was there, but that was lounge music. You didn't expect to be dancing to it at the club. And
Which is so weird, just because like for me as like a young kid, like growing up and hearing things like Lucky Star by Superfunk, or or like stuff that was kind of like just on that sort of level, Stardust, Armin van Helden, all that. That was the stuff I like imagined at the time would be like going on in like a gay club. Like that was the sound that I thought was there, and apparently not. So I was kind of shocked when I came into Toronto for the first time. I just heard like this super loud, aggressive, like circuit big room stuff, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, see, so when I came out, it was like 1997, just at the beginning stages of the circuit sound, and I have to admit, I liked it at the time. And listening to those remixes, especially for a production side of things, I really learned how a track was made just inherently by listening to those 12-minute mixes, because it was essentially just started with the kick and then the toms, and then I just learned how things kind of built and grooves were formed. Not that I knew how to program them, but I just, in my head, after listening to all those mixes, it came in. So I'm thankful for that. I mean, and I think the circuit scene in its infancy was not what it's turned into today. I think the basis.
Oh no, definitely not.
I just feel like the community got so stuck, and once the pop remixes really took off, that's where we stayed. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I mean, I love lyrics, I love pop music. When I'm out dancing, I don't fucking want to hear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very much here for that.
Yeah, but the majority of the community wants to hear, whatever. But the scene was way different. I remember going to Fly nightclub, and I forget who the DJ was at the time, but they brought in somebody who was doing funky disco, and this is before I kind of went that direction. And man, the crowd was not having it. Poor DJ, that poor fucker, whoever that was, just did not, like, he couldn't catch a break. But then surprisingly, like 3 or 4 years later, I got the opportunity to open up for, I think, Sean Riker at Fly. I'd been playing in the basement of Fly, like not like I'm talking at the bar, not like there was no setup. I was literally at the bar, and I was playing funky disco filtered house, and I'd have people dancing down there. And so finally somebody said, hey, well, why don't we bring them upstairs? So we did, and oh my God. Well, I mean, it was great because the sound system was incredible. It was weird being above everybody. I don't know if you ever got to.
I can imagine, just like with the way that booth is elevated, or was elevated, I should say.
Well, no, the last time when you saw it, no, it was in a different spot, but it was above. Anyway, either way, I'm not a fan of that, so you couldn't tell. Like I could, and the dance floor was busy, but I couldn't, whatever. I had no idea whether I was doing a good or bad job. I fucking didn't care, but I was just going. I was doing my thing, and thank God. I did a 2-hour funky filtered disco house set, and when the last song ended, they cheered.
That's awesome.
I was like shocked because, again, it was a very circuit. I mean, Fly was known as a circuit club.
Mm-hmm.
So to get
and it's funny you say that. Like I have some really great memories from playing down in that little basement area of Fly. Like the last I don't know, year or two, it was still open.
You mean the bunker?
Yeah. Oh man, that place was super fun.
I wish I'd had what the bunker had. Like literally, it was half the sound, no DJ booth. But yeah, no, I wanted to actually. I would have loved to have played the bunker when it was.
Yeah, it was definitely an experience to behold.
Oh man, it was fun. It was dirty and gritty and real house music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was. It's just sad that you couldn't get 700 people for the main room for that.
Right. Yeah. Oh well. I mean, one day.
We'll have to open up our own clubs.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, so you've got the new album out. What else have we can discuss? How are you dealing with the pandemic? Like, are you?
So it was kind of nuts. So my birthday just passed on March 18th, and that was the day I was actually flying home from LA to Toronto. But I had a layover in Philly for like 7 hours between, and just the news I was watching and being stuck in an airport while all this shit was going on, like, man, I became just like such like an anxious wreck after hour 3, just because I was like, I need to get home. I need to get inside my house. I need to stay there. I need to not move or anything, period. But the good thing is, like, through that and like after all that, chaos subsided, even though, there's still a lot of chaos going on. I've just been looking through all my old Ableton project files and just trying to bang out as much content as I can before, life starts to rev back up again.
Well, that's good. So you're using the time to produce more stuff.
Oh yeah. And then like the thing is, like, in the last 2 years, I definitely haven't been as prolific as I used to be. Like, I've been way more focused on doing shows, and now that those are gone, like, I have all this free time to just, bang stuff out.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, it does. Like, now, do you have a day job as well, or is your income's fully?
I did have a day job. I was slinging sandwiches downtown, but unfortunately that got cut just because my boss had to lay off not only myself but a ton of other people.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, we're both in the same boat. I mean, I was working at a cafe that's been shut down. So yeah, so this is, yeah, fuck. Have you applied for EI or any of that stuff? Or you?
I'm gonna be applying for the benefit that opens up on Monday. Also, I've applied for some artist funding as well.
Okay.
Some of that has already come through, which has been great. But also with this new EP release, I've been able to, get a few bucks for groceries this week, which is really nice. So I can, I can keep on moving.
All right. So guys, seriously, check out on Bandcamp Frustra's new EP, Fool for Grooves. It's $4, man. Like, it's $1 a song. It's well worth it. If you're a house DJ, I assure you it's going to work in your sets. My latest DJ set on Mixcloud, it's track number 2 is by this woman here. It actually was the track that inspired me to like get on the decks, to tell you the truth.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
So thank you. Yeah, like, support your local guys, man. Buy their music if you can. If it's, $1 a song is not a lot of money, and it could buy, Frustra some fucking groceries for the week.
Yeah, feed me.
Feed him. All right. Well, on that note, I gotta say goodbye. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this, man.
Yeah, no worries. It was great chatting with you.
It's, and I think this is the first time we've actually talked for longer than 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. Well, mostly because I'm usually out of the bar and I'm off my face. So, that's how it goes.
True. We're both in a bar and or working, and it's hard to talk.
Yeah,
working.
Both of those things.
But no, I mean, I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. Keep up the good work. I wish you all the success on this EP, man. It really deserves it. So I'm looking forward to see what happens when it hits Beatport and Tracksource. And
yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to watch.
Totally. And I will be watching.
Okay. Awesome.
Right, have a good one. We'll talk soon.
Yeah. Peace.